For the first time in the Galaxy S line's history, Samsung is putting out what seems to be a simple refresh generation on the Surface with little changes and additions. It's been over a month since we first laid our hands on the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus, and now we're taking a good long look at both phones in detail. With a design that's essentially identical to last year's models, we're going to take a look at what's different, what's better, and what's worse. The Galaxy S9 comes in two sizes, just like last year, but this time around the larger S9 Plus has a few more features up its sleeve. Each size is about a millimeter shorter than last year, thanks to the slightly smaller chin at the bottom, yet Samsung has crammed considerably better speakers inside these phones. With Dolby Atmos support, the earpiece now acts as a front-facing speaker, in tandem with that bottom-firing one. The result is incredible to say the least. My mouth literally dropped the first time I played a song on this phone. Virtual surround sound is trippy, and it doesn't even feel like the sound is coming from the phone sometimes, rather some ethereal speaker hovering just overhead. This is easily the best sound from any Samsung device, it's not even close. There's still a 3.5mm audio jack too for folks like me who don't see the necessity in upgrading a perfectly good sound system, and dual output Bluetooth 5.0 like last year if wireless is more your thing. Despite being around 10% heavier for each model, the batteries aren't any bigger, and battery life is somehow worse. Both phones are still stuck on Quick Charge 2.0 as well, which means quick wireless charging is more or less the same speed as actually plugging the device in. Go figure. I also struggled to get a full day out of the S9 Plus, and one of our other editors, Alex, who's been using the smaller S9, has the exact same issue. Is it the Oreo update? Snapdragon 845? Too many features? Certainly could be anything, but it doesn't seem to be a rogue app since both of us have this issue. Not good either way. Samsung is using the same vibration motor from last year, so while it's not quite as advanced feeling as the V30's motor, it's still considerably more dampened and natural feeling than the harsh vibration motors that most phones have. The rest of the design is nearly identical in look and feel, a very good thing in every regard, as it's still easily one of the most visually appealing phones on the market. Samsung moved the Fingerprint Reader this time around, under the camera instead of to the side of it. This took me a few weeks to get used to, funny enough, as I kept putting my finger where the S8's fingerprint scanner was located, but it's easier to use than last year's without a doubt. In its place on the side is a set of health sensors that Samsung has included on its phones for some time now, but new to its feature repertoire is the ability to detect blood pressure. It measures the changes in mean arterial pressure and can map that information, along with other information taken from quick surveys it asks a few times during the day. Right now, this is just part of a research study by the University of California, San Francisco, in an app called My BP Lab. No doubt this will be integrated into Samsung Health at some point, which will only continue to build its pedigree as the best mobile health app around. It's really astounding just how well put together Samsung Health is, and while it's something anyone with an Android phone can download, the integration with the health sensor on the back of the phone helps make it a more complete package on these phones than any to date. If that rear-mounted fingerprint scanner just isn't cutting it for you, Samsung has upgraded the rest of the biometric recognition this year and combined facial recognition with iris scanning into a single package called Intelligent Scan. Basically, the phone scans both your face and eyes as it would for each individual unlocking method, but determines the best choice of unlocking based on success. Patents initially found before the phone was announced made us think it would utilize an infrared light to deep scan the face, but it seems this is more of a scenario where the 2D face unlocking is tried first, and then the iris scanning if that fails, and of course a combination for a final try. It's definitely slower if it doesn't see you right the first time, but it does work in the dark, likely the iris scanner doing its thing rather than some other magic going on. It's not more secure though than what's offered on the Galaxy S8, surprisingly, but it is more reliable for what it's worth. Features like Samsung Pay, Samsung Pass, and Secure Folder feel even better than before though, as they continue to build on the layers of security and privacy Samsung has built in with Knox and everything else. Samsung Pay is still the best mobile payment solution on the market, hands down, no contest. Between the fact that it can beam a magnetic strip to card readers that don't officially support mobile payments, and the crazy amount of deals and rewards that Samsung constantly offers, you'd literally be throwing money away by not using this if you've got an S9. It's no different from previous Samsung phones with the tech, but the extra layers of security might make you feel better than ever before while using it. Samsung Pass is their way of biometrically securing logins for your favorite sites and apps, keeping you from having to constantly enter this information by doing a quick biometric scan and matching up the data with the site. Secure Folder is here again too, keeping private content away from prying eyes by locking it behind an extra password or a PIN. It's a nifty little feature that could come in handy in a pinch. Just like last year, both sides of the screen are curved, and it's not just the glass, it's of course the display itself. This time around there's even less distortion on that curve, so you won't get quite the same greenish blue effect on the edges of the panel as in previous generations. This has enabled Samsung to build a portfolio of add-ons for its edge display panels over the years, encompassing both first and third-party options, both available in free and paid panels. Just about anything you can think of can be found here. Swipe out from the side to bring up the panel and have immediate access to your 10 most recent apps, most contacted people, manage your mobile clipboard, check reminders, see the weather, use a compass or ruler, find out the latest news or the latest sports scores, see how much or little your Bitcoin are worth, see the latest Android headlines YouTube releases, keep track of the latest real estate with Trulia, and literally hundreds or maybe even thousands of other options. It's dizzying, and it's something that becomes invaluable the more you use it, but it's really no different from what you can get on the Galaxy S8. What's not so invaluable are those new AR emojis, a clear take on Apple's Emojis that launched with the iPhone X in the fall, and they're mainly hampered by Samsung's simple use of only the cameras. It can be used with either front or rear cameras and work the same either way. The idea is to transform you into a virtual character, not just provide AR Snapchat-style masks, giving you the ability to control the character's movements entirely with your own. In theory, it sounds nice, but in practice, it's pretty weak and glitchy. Characters move a bit like you, but not in a natural way, and they have difficulty keeping your pose for more than a second at a time. Even the avatar that's made automatically from a selfie doesn't quite hold up, and really in the end feels more like a beta product than anything. Samsung really should have taken a cue from its Bigsby launch last year, where they debuted the Galaxy S8 with a light version of Bigsby and promised a more full version would hit sometime later. This of course came true with the Galaxy Note 8's release in the fall, and now we're seeing an even further upgraded Bigsby on the Galaxy S9. This won't be exclusive to the S9, so we won't cover it in super detail, but new options allow easy disabling of that annoying Bigsby key on the side of the phone, and extended capabilities and ways of interacting with more apps than ever before. Bigsby Vision has also been upgraded with some big new features that give it qualities closer to Google Lens, but without as much automation. You'll need to choose between various categories like food, text, and shopping, but it's the real-time translate feature and food identification that might prove to be the best new additions. Among other things, you can use that food identification tool to estimate your caloric intake for Samsung Health, another win for the veritable health tracking software we just talked about. It's the version of Bigsby that Samsung wanted to launch with last year's model for sure, but didn't have the development time to do it right. Samsung also does multitasking better than anyone in the industry, hands down. They pioneered the multi-window thing back with the Note series many years ago, and since then have improved this to the point where you can float any app in a window, just like on a desktop computer, and minimize it to a simple floating icon that can be placed anywhere on the screen. Again, not something new or different from other Samsung flagships, but it's something you won't find on any other phones on the market in this capacity. It's ultra handy any way you slice it. Samsung also does support better than most OEMs out there too, and it's not just in the warranty itself, but in the services offered outside of that defect protection. There's also a new dual aperture camera, which is mostly excellent, but doesn't do too much to fix the problems we've had with Samsung cameras in the past. Bottom line is this: if you want the best camera, get the Google Pixel 2. If you need advanced manual modes, get the LG V30. Check out our in-depth camera review of the Galaxy S9 here for more info. At the end of the day, it's the most full-featured, well-rounded, out-of-the-box experience. It doesn't have the best battery life though, but if you don't mind topping it up through those heavy use days, it's about the only real glaring negative of the phone if you don't count the additional camera on the S9 Plus an issue as well. A month later, and this is still an unbelievable experience, despite its seemingly minimal improvements over its predecessor, but if you're looking to get something nearly identical and don't want to pony up the full price of either model, that Galaxy S8 could be the one to go for instead. We hope you enjoyed that review and will subscribe to us for regularly updated content. Chat with us on your favorite social media network, and don't forget to check out AndroidHeadlines.com for 24/7 tech news coverage. Thanks for watching, and until next time.